Hello, everybody. Excuse me. Uh, I went to go upload part 2 of our girl, and it did not record. So all of that is for nothing. So you can see what I did to her. I used, this is a 2-part epoxy paste, part A and part B. This is really difficult to work with. There's a steep learning curve. So if you decide to try it, I love it. It dries, you could see it is like rock hard. I love it, but it is tricky. So keep that in mind. I added some to her eyes because after telling you guys, I don't even remember what video I told you. After telling you not to drill all the way through, I realized that I had drilled all the way through. So I added that to her eyes to give it some structure. And then I had accidentally mixed so much. I figured, well, let's add some here, and we'll add some here, and we'll add some here. And then what you can do is you can texture it. So I'm going to run through, like on this piece, I'm going to throw some texture on it. But I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use a circle tool. Something that makes a circle. Because that's what I want. I want to have maybe a maggot coming out of there. So I have this tool right here, this tip. And this is in my Harbor Freight Dremel tool. Nothing fancy here. My $8 special that so far it's held up for a couple years now. I love it. 10 out of 10, recommend. It's loud though, so you know, I will zip through this. So I'll fast forward and mute it. Alrighty then. Just drilled some holes so that I could add some clay bits later to make maggots. I'm tired tonight, guys. I apologize. I am like really tired. I'm just going to take this brush and clean her off. I'm not worried about the dust or anything like that. That don't bother me. Okay. So the clay in the nose is dry, fully dry. She's looking pretty good. I'm going to have to go over some paint. That's no big deal. I still have the blending gel, the slow dry blending gel. Putting some of that on the tip of my brush and dipping it into the flush color that we made before. I don't know how juicy that is. We'll see. And we're going to tippy tap it on. And because her nose was rotted so badly that it popped off, I'm adding this base color, but it's gonna end up getting more. It's gonna need some black, and it's gonna need some, you know, other colors. All right. Let me add a little bit green and little teensy bit of red. Okay. Yes, that makes a good pustule color. I need a smaller brush. This brush is too big. Oh, goodness gracious. I am just schmutzing it all over the place. And then all I do is blend it out when I realize I've schmutzed it all over the place. all that's left to do is blend it out. I'm trying to hit all of the epoxy sculpt areas. I'm sorry. What is this stuff called? Epoxy paste. I'm trying to hit all of those areas so that they have some color. See, that it dries like almost a translucent gray, and I don't want it to be translucent gray. I would rather it be, you know, flesh tone, whatever. I just dipped into that neon green again, got a little bit more red on my brush. And I'm just dabbing over the epoxy areas. I am not doing the eyeballs yet. I usually wait till like the very last thing for the eyeballs in case I have to change anything, or if I change my mind, because I do change my mind quite often. I'll be honest. Oh, me. I did not sleep well last night, you guys. I have insomnia so bad, I cannot stand it. Cannot shut my brain off. And it makes a person tired. You just feel kind of wore out. I'm dabbing this green and red mixture onto the brain matter. Need a little bit more red in this mix. I want this one next to her mouth to be like real fresh and juicy. Maybe a little bit up here, a little bit there, some on that there, which that back there is a more of that expanding foam that expanded out of her head. So we're just gonna work with it. That stuff sticks like glue. You can see where the crack is, and it oozed up a little bit out of the crack, and well, you know what they say about stepping on a crack. Oh, you guys, my hand was in the way that, oh my word. I told you I'm no good at this. This is the expanding foam, and I'm just dabbing it. It expanded. You could see the crack right there. It expanded out of that crack, and it gathered behind her ear, so I'm just dabbing some paint onto it. My word, I'm sorry. I am so not a good guest. Not a good host. Her hands, I put a little bit of the epoxy putty on as well. Again, all I'm doing is like putting on a first coat, and then I'm going to come behind and do some shading and stuff. And I actually made some that are actually like flat, so they could be like flat sores. That kind of looks like a burn. It's pretty cool looking. With that color, it's a good color for a burn. I never know where I put stuff until I look twice or three times. I forget, and then I'll run across and be like, oh, I forgot one. Okay. So, and as you can see, this is not like difficult work. It's just basically kind of softly dry brushing over where you've put that clay. Okay, that's that. I'm going to add some into her, scooch down a little bit, little girl. I'm going to add some into her nasal area. I want the underlying pink color. Probably none of it'll show, but even if just a speck of it shows, I want it to be there. You know, I want someone to who's expecting to see it to see it. This is a darker, like, bloody color. And I'm going to pull this up because, you know, her nose rotted and fell off. You'd expect there to be a little bit of dried blood up around in here, right? I would expect so anyway. Okay. I want some bloody areas up in here. I need some gloss. And all I'm doing is I'm putting this on this. This one's probably not even open. It sure isn't. Alright, then I'm going to use the Gloss Super Heavy Gel because I don't feel like fussing with it. This is Gloss Super Heavy Gel. It holds shape better than the regular gloss gel. I'm just going to squeeze out a peak like that. That way I can dip into like my blood color, get my brush good and gushy, and then grab some of that and mix it in. And with this Gloss Heavy Gel, if you leave it slightly undermixed, like kind of marbly, see how that's real marbly back there? When it dries on the paste, it has clear streaks in it. So it looks, it's kind of a good look, I think. So, and we want Miss Thing here to be juicy looking. And I think that constitutes juicy. I'm going to put a little bit of blood around this crack. It's noticeable. And I ain't trying to hide it. You know, I'm not trying to make it like it wasn't there, or, you know, whatever happened. That was part of her brain injury. It was traumatic. She deserves her moment. Let her have it. So I'm going to put a little bit there, a little bit there, just a tiny bit on her hand. All right, I think that's pretty good. I think she looks pretty good. What do you think? I'm pretty excited. I'm taking just some gloss with no color. Well, the brush is still dirty, so there'll be color in it. But gloss with minimal color. And I'm going over a couple of spots that I just want to have a little bit of a shine. I'm going to have to, let me pull some of this out and dip some black onto my desk. And I want some of that toxic green. And I'm going to mix those on my desk. I don't know if you can see that. I think you can. That gives me like a smoky gray color with its tinged green. So I'm going to take this smoky green gootsy color, and I'm going to kind of go around the edges, but not covering 100%. Anywhere we want the rot to be, this is a good base color because it's almost an olive green leaning towards gray. So let's see, we'll have some over here. I can't see where that crack is. We're going to have a little bit of beginner rot. And anywhere on the brain matter that we don't like how it came out, we can throw a little bit of this darker stuff on top and it looks pretty good. And then once we get that on, take straight like neon green, dab it a little bit because you don't want it gloppy, but go right over and highlight some. And if you just give it a couple of taps, it settles right in and gives you a nice little highlight. It just sings a little bit. I'll put some there. Nope, I need a little bit more. Put some here. Oh, a little bit there. Here and there, there and here, you know. Try and get up a little bit under her chin. I think she looks pretty good. I'm going to switch to a finer brush. If I can find a finer brush. Let's see if this will, I don't know if this is going to work. I have this brush. I don't know that it's going to work, but we're going to give it a shot. I'm going to load it with my gel medium. I did not dip this one first. Loaded it with my gel medium. I'm going to dip it just the tip. That's what she said. In the black. And it is just the tip. And we're going to go in here and we're going to give some like really necrotic tissue going on here. And don't follow the exact outline of the nose. Take the necrotic tissue out a little bit further and feather out the color a little bit, because as you can see, I'm running out of the black, and I'm instead my brush is picking up that olivey green. So I got dipped more in the black, and right now I'm just kind of making an outline where I want my rotting flesh to be. And you don't want to make like a coloring book outline of it either. But you want that black liberally sprinkled. Good Lord. And then I'm going to go back in. And I'm going to kind of just soften the edges. I'm not going to blend it out completely. But we just want the edges a little bit softened. Like I said, we don't want it to be coloring book outline. We want it to simulate necrotic flesh. Okay, so there's my black. Now I'm going to use, there's my yellow ochre. Yellow ochre is a gnarly color. It is great for pus. And I mean really great for pus. If you take yellow ochre and you just a very like dot of unbleached titanium, it really looks gross. Delightfully so. So keep that in mind. Let's see. And I'm just dibby-dabbing the yellow. I can't push her down that way any further. Let me see if I can pull you guys over. That's better, except I don't trust the stand. Ouch. There, how's that? What I was doing with the yellow ochre is I was just dibby-dabbing. I dabbed some here, here, there. And if you take unbleached titanium, just the barest little amount, and you go over top, like that. It looks like one of those juicy zits. That's what it looks like. And you just kind of got to go around and dab a little bit here, dab a little bit there. You know, make it juicy. Oh, I didn't like that. So I'm going to take my blood color in the gloss and I'm going to cover that back up because I really didn't like that. That was very stark against that. So see, no harm, no foul. And I'm also going to like maybe soften a couple of these other places where I got a little carried away. But all in all, I think she's gorgeous. I have in her hair right there, this is the expanding foam. So just grab some of your glossy blood and go over that. Make it look like brain matter. All we got to do. And it don't even have to be blood. You can make it any color you want. Now this looks like a mauve color because it's the gel medium is a white when it's wet, but it dries clear. So keep that in mind. And I'm just covering her hair everywhere there was that expanding foam that's that yellowy color. I'm just covering that up, making it, well, making, if I do miss a spot, the yellow won't be so, you know, out of place. Your eye will look at that and think, oh yeah, that should be yellow. Because there's yellow here, there's yellow there, you know. But trying not to let it get out of hand. So, all right, you guys, this is supposed to be part 3, but it's actually part 2 because part 2 went on walkabout without me. I'm a little upset about that. I'm going to take white, I think, and I'm going to paint just because I'm thinking about it. And this is just plain old titanium white, no medium, nothing. Well, medium's still on the brush. Of course, I haven't cleaned it yet. But when I go to give her the zombie eyes, I want her to have a nice, good white base. All right. Alrighty then. Looks pretty good. I kind of like her. Alright, so that's done. Let me get my daughter. Where's my daughter? There's my daughter. Do you know what I did? I just stuck my arm in that paint. I stuck my bat wing in that paint. Okay, I have a dotting tool. You can see there's a dot on this end and there's a smaller dot on that end. I'm taking this big dot and I'm going to dip it in my black paint so that it looks like that. And I am going to, first of all, take my glasses off so that I can get up close and personal. And if I do get up in your way, I apologize, but I really cannot see very well. Okay, and then I'm going to go boop, boop. And they are like all jacked up. This one is off, it's not center, and I don't care. That's fine. If it really bothers you, I mean, if you're OCD, you could just take a wet Kleenex and wipe that off and try again. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. But I'm gonna put color over it. And we want them to be a little bit, you know, gooky. This is the paint I keep getting on my arm. And I get it right up on my bat wing. So she's done for right now. I cannot do her and Nick both on camera. So I'm just going to do her on camera. His is going to be exactly the same situation. I'm not doing anything different to him that I didn't do to her. But once they're all done together, I will post them on my page. And then the next episode, yeah, the next episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make kind of like give the suggestion of maggots, with the gloss gel and a syringe. That'll be fun. So thank you for joining me. Please click like and subscribe if you'd like to see the rest of her. Ask me any questions you want. I have no secrets. If you see something you want to know how I did it, I'm happy to tell you what I did, how I did, where I got it. I'm not going to hold nothing back. I don't believe in that. So have a super duper evening, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow. Bye-bye.